Joe, on your right here, down 8 with 5:30 to go. Looks like, the Stars look a little even tired out there with Minster playing them. How were they able to just to pull that out and down the stretch?
Yeah, I didn't think we looked tired. I thought, guys had a smile on their face. We were enjoying the moment. I thought for most of the game we were getting really good looks, and we just had to chip away at it, and just continue to execute. And we did a good job holding them to one shot, did a good job executing. So I thought the guys just did a great job kind of staying present, embracing the moment.
Joe, obviously, none of these games are necessarily easy. A lot of them you were coming back in the final couple of minutes, like you just alluded to. How can that help you guys as you prepare for the finals to have gotten through the series the way you did and pulling a lot of these games out in the final moments?
Yeah, I think the guys did a great job having an understanding that, like, a game is not supposed to go a certain type of way, and you got to find different ways to win. You got to learn to protect leads. You got to learn to come back from deficits. You have to learn to execute in close game situations. You have to communicate adjustments, and you just got to make plays. You got to be tough-minded. So as many different situations as we could put ourselves in heading into this last round, it's important. And, the guys have done a great job just winning games many different ways. And so got good practice executing, and I just got to continue it.
You guys held them scoreless for the final 3:32. Jalen had the huge block on Nembhard near the end. What did you see in terms of defensive execution and limiting them to one shot? Again, this team is very similar to you guys, where, like, they create a lot of noise, and you have to decipher what's true and, like, what shots you're going to willing to live with and which ones you're going to take away. And so, like, it was really hard throughout the game because I felt like we were making them take tough shots, and the guys just stuck with it and did a great job taking tendencies, did a good bet, just upped our ball pressure and our individual defense, and we got stops, held them to a 19-point quarter.
Joe, what are those championship stations that Derek talked about, if you're willing to divulge? And is that something you started this year? Does that go back to when you first took over here?
Just the details, things that you can't take for granted. Sometimes it's the smallest is getting the ball in bounds, but just try to pick little things that we see on a nightly basis that can impact winning and can affect losing. And we just practice them over and over again until they become second nature.
They, like, positioned around different baskets from the gym type thing?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, Jaylen Brown, Series MVP. What did you think of him in the last minute with the block and steal, and then just for the entire series?
Man, I thought he got good shots the whole game. And he just couldn't get, like, in the first half, he was pushing the pace. He got transition. He got 2 feet in the paint. I thought he was getting great shots the whole game. And I thought he just stayed with it, stayed poised. He's a guy, you can't shake him. He has great, just a short-term memory. If he misses a shot, never affects the next one. And so I just loved his poise, his ability to just attack. And, if it's one thing about him, and like Derek said, just making plays, like not being defined by scoring. And it was a hell of a pass. And, I had full faith he was going to make that read. It was a great read.
Joe, touching on Jalen again, after game 2, we talked about not making the All-NBA and being underappreciated. But just for him to win this award and just to kind of get some flowers for what he's done, his improvement, his step forward, and the man he's become off the floor as well as on the floor, how does that impact you? When you deal with him and get to know him and over the last 2 years, how is that relationship formed? Yeah,
I think one of the best gifts, things I have is why I got into coaching is building relationships with guys. And, when I left college to go to the NBA, most people were like, hesitant about that because, NBA guys get a negative rap as to being able to build relationships with them. But I felt like there's a lot there. And just getting to know people and their families and what makes them tick and the things that they love off the court. And also, like, finding guys that are so passionate about just getting better as players and people. And Jalen is one of those. And so, from the first day I've been here, he's become more just like open-minded towards just growing as a basketball player. See what he's done in the community, and I just really, really value the time that I get to spend with him on and off the court. And he just keeps getting better and better. I'm happy for him.
Joe, can we talk about Derek White's resilience for a second? He was 1 for 8 from 3 before he hit that big one at the end. He just finds a way to get it done in the clutch.
Yeah, he does, huh? But it's a credit to him. Like, he's another guy where, like, he just got short-term memory. The last shot doesn't bother him. He plays with a sense of joy, a sense of presence. And I thought he got some really good looks, too. And, I think that's like the fourth or fifth time I remember a game at Toronto where he hit a corner three to be in there, and like when he catches that, he has I have full faith that it's going in. So, but another guy where his lack of shot making didn't impact his defense or his execution at times, and all the guys have kind of done that this year.
Joe, up 3-0, it felt inevitable, but to get that final buzzer, when you look out on the floor and you see somebody like Al Horford really show some emotion, right? Mm-hmm. Celebrating with his son, all of those moments out there. Where do you feel? I know there's 4 more wins, but what's your feeling there in that moment, seeing those guys celebrating?
For me, it was finding my wife first. I wanted to make sure I had that moment with her. And kind of like Gary said, like you get to know these guys as people, and you start to see how much they really care about doing anything and everything what it takes to win. And you see how it impacts their families, their marriages, their wives, like all the traveling, everything we do. So just to see them be, vulnerable and open, and just that sense of joy, it's kind of why you do what you do.
Joe, you talked earlier in the series about how Jalen is out there with like half the coaching staff at the end of practices working on his reads. Yeah. You were one of those coaches working on that a few years ago, right? What have you seen in his his reaction time, his poise, how he's improved with that, and then just that play to Derek? It's like he almost fumbled it away and he still recovered. Like he's turned those over in the past. So just how is that kind of like a culmination of all the progress he's made as a player?
Yeah, credit to him. He has a growth mindset, so he's never afraid to work on a weakness. He's never afraid to go after something that makes him uncomfortable. And between him and Tony and the player development staff, like they put him in any and every situation possible. So when you have a guy that's open-minded towards growth and towards wanting to get better, they practice stuff like that. They practice, they have the arms and they slap him down and driving into 2 guys because they collapse and having to make that. So like any and every situation you see on the court, Jalen prioritizes kind of going through that. So it's a credit to just his growth mindset and the staff.
Coach, Al played 35 minutes or more for the 6th time in the last 8 games. What he's doing right now or at any phase of his career, it's pretty mind-blowing to see. Can you characterize just what he means to this squad?
I mean, you can't really put it into words, so I'll try my best. But he's just a guy who is the best. I mean, his leadership, his poise, his intensity, like when he brings it to a different level, it's contagious. Inspiration, guys look up to him. He's just Al. I can't, put it into words, but I'm grateful that we have him, and I'm really happy for him. Just the sacrifices that he's made over the course of his entire career to get another shot at this is big, and I'm really happy for him. Thank you, Joe. Thanks.